So many challenges these last 2 months, dealing with life-changing health issues, seeing doctor after doctor to help with healing, emotional highs and lows, coming alongside a loved one in the sudden loss of her husband. So many lessons learned that I want to share with you. Death of a spouse carries a weight so heavy that the person grieving can feel suffocated and hopeless. Even a once, quote, on top of everything, unquote, person can suddenly feel totally alone, overwhelmed, and even become ill in the process of grieving. In this video, I will share lessons I didn't know I needed to learn about a season of grief. I get it that no one really wants to think about that. No one likes a Debbie Downer, but I now feel I've learned and am still learning how to cope in and through grief. Armed with this awareness can help not only us, you, in our own challenging times, but are invaluable in helping others who will experience loss and grief in the future. Life goes by so fast. The day-to-day things that we do suddenly stop. Normal family activities, our work, community involvement, gathering with loved ones and friends, the celebrations of life, our recreational activities. Yes, to everything there is a season. This has been a season of continuous trials for me. You see, my plan was to take some time away to heal, plan, and think about the highest and best use of my time in life. Proverbs 16:9 reads, "The mind of man plans his way, but the Lord directs his steps." You see, in the midst of my own health challenges, I rushed to my dear one's side when I learned of the sudden loss of her husband. I felt certain I would be a comfort in her time of need, but instead, I felt ill-equipped to supply what she truly needed. It was in that week with her that I learned the importance of listening, learning, and true empathy. In the midst of my own intentional living, I believe God had some important life lessons to show me. I've learned that there are some similarities between chronic and seemingly unresolvable health issues and death. Debilitating health issues can mean the death of a goal, dream, friendships, or even a marriage. While life-altering health issues can result in death, death is so final. Both bring intense grief. In doing my research about grief, one of the most common things I came across was people who have a move-on mentality, what they call a move-on mentality. For instance, how long to keep his picture, how long to keep his clothes, how often to go to the gravesite, intimating that it could be unhealthy to do all these things. The list is endless. What I've learned is that everyone grieves, but everyone grieves differently. Death can bring out the worst or even the best in people, and the world may leave you behind. People will say dumb things because they don't know what to say. But the overarching thing that I did learn about grief is that grief feels a lot like fear. Grief feels like the intense pain will never stop. Grief feels like the fear of forgetting the sound of his or her voice or her laugh. And grief is the fear that others will forget your loved one. And finally, grief makes you feel isolated, alone, terrified, and damaged. And honestly, scared of absolutely everything. In a moment, I'm going to share a booklet series with you that I learned about from my pastor, and it's called Journeying Through Grief. There are 4 booklets. I'm holding one in my hand. It's called A Time to Grieve by Kenneth C. Houck, and it's from the StephenMinistries.org. I'll link it for you below. In closing, I want to say that the best advice that I've heard in all of my research this week is that the advice should not be move on or when are you going to move on. No, the best advice is move forward. Moving forward is different than moving on. You are still grieving. You're still remembering your loved one. You still may be in the depths of despair, but God is enabling you to move forward, albeit could be slowly, but God will allow you to move forward. Because, dear friend, to everything there is a season and a time for every purpose under heaven. God bless you. If you're grieving today, whether it be for your loved one, your health, your marriage, whatever it is that you're grieving through, may God encourage you in your heart as you move forward with Him.